Okay, so 9 months of planning, 2 years of procrastinating, stuck in this plastic. We're back, baby! And welcome back to Keep On Creating, or I'm Just Mike, or whatever we call in this channel. Yes, it's been a minute. Hopefully you've been to that. I'm not going to go through everything on this video. If you want to know anything, just pop a comment below and I'll get around to answering it. Right now, let's just jump into this tutorial. And we're back. So the first thing we're going to do is get used to this mic right in my face and blocking my keyboard, because I ain't used to that anymore. So let's go new file, click on that. This big blue button over here. And currently I've got 500 by 500. It is in millimeters. You can have it on whatever you want. All these settings don't matter at the moment. RGB, CMYK, it's all good. Click on create and we end up with a big square block. Haven't you accomplished something? So what we're going to do is let's first get our ellipse tool. So you go over here to the side, you see the square, you can click on L, just a quick key. Don't do quick keys, guys, because quick keys just make things quicker. So if we click on that and you can see there's my ellipse tool there. Okay, go somewhere into the center of your artboard. Click and start dragging, hold Alt, you can see it drags from the center, hold Shift, and you keep it in proportion. So we want to make it somewhere around there. Okay, then I'm going to center this. So you should have your align tools either up here. If you can't find them, sometimes they're on the side. This is your little icon over here. If you can't find them, then go up to Window and you'll see Align over here. So we're just looking for this Align commands or align tab. So I'm going to click on horizontal and vertical, and you can see it aligns to my page because it's selected over here. It says align to artboard. The rest of them, they're aligned to other things. Leave them. So with my circle still selected, I'm going to go Command C, which is copy, Command F, which is paste in the exact same place. Then I'm going to hit E. Okay, E is scale, which is this little tool over here. It's free transform, scale, same thing. And I'm going to start dragging this inwards. Hold Alt again and hold Shift, and you'll see it drags in from the center. So we're going to want this somewhere around about here, somewhere around there is cool, and release. But now we've got a problem, is that currently you can see that this has a full of white and our other one also has a full of white. We don't want the full of white. I know you can't see it, but it's there at the moment. So I want to take that fill out by just clicking on this little button over here. It says none. You can click over here, and you can even click the little / button and it'll take that fill away. So you can see we've got a line through it. We've got no fill now. That's exactly what we want. But now we want to increase the stroke size. So get your stroke, which is up here, or it's on the side over here, or it's over here in the window. If you can't find anything, always just go to this window tab up here and find the window that I'm talking about, or the tab that I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to make this about 25. Nope, let's make this 30, a little bit thicker. Yeah, that's cool. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this again. So Command C. I'm going to head over to my layers tab. Okay, so I've got my layers tab here. Just close the stroke one. All the way down at the bottom of the layers, you can see this little plus sign over here. I'm going to click on that, and I am going to make sure to deselect the layer that I'm on. Okay, so I'm just clicking off to the side with my pointer tool over here. Let's close the color. And I'm going to select my layer 2, and I'm going to go Command F. Now that's going to place a version of this the circles that we can come back to later. And I'm even going to change the color. So I'm going to click on this that one over here that says stroke, and I'm going to make it pink. So there's going to be a version saved with this later that we can come back to that's not broken, because we're going to mix it up. Let's go back to our layers palette, and I'm going to hide this layer 2 over here. So we can even label this layer 2 as like elements not missed. Okay, and this is our working layer over here. So working layer. Okay, so that we all know what we do. And let's hide this elements layer over here. So I'm going to click that, hide it. Okay, and it's gone. Okay, now what we need to do is I would like to break the sides of the circle, but not just break them normal and indent them. Let's do something cool with it. So let's, on our working layer, okay, let's hit M to get our rectangle tool up. Okay, remember, rectangle tools on the side over here. Learn your quick keys. And I'm going to click and drag over here. Okay, it's nice and pink at the moment. We don't want pink. Back to our swatches. We're going to click on the black and yeah, so somewhere like there. That's cool. You can even make that a little bit thinner. Just drag it in a little bit. Okay. Okay. Now with your rectangle selected, I'm going to shear this. So your shear tool on the side over here, you click that, there's a little rectangle with a little arrow making it sideways. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to click and drag to the right. So you can see dragging to the right, drag to the left, drag up, down, whichever way you want to go. So I'm going to click to drag to my right very slightly, like somewhere around about there. Okay, that's cool. Now I'm going to hit V to get my pointer tool. You will see I constantly hit V. I think when I'm nervous, I hit V. So I hit V a lot. I'm going to click on this little node over here. I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag, and that basically makes another copy of it. Okay. Then I can just drag it to this point over here. You can see how it nicely snaps to that little corner over there. Boop. That's cool. Okay. Now we've basically got them going at the same angle, which is always cool. I'm going to hit P to get my pen tool, and I'm going to take away this little node here. If you have to click over there, it gives me an extra node. We don't want an extra node, we want to take away this node. So I'm going to go hover at that node over there, and it's gone. Right, so you can see this lightning bolt starting to form here what I'm doing. I'm going to click this, I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to drag it in, just so it drags in on that same axis. Okay, so somewhere around about there, it's pretty cool. Okay, let's select both of these. So hit V again. I'm going to select both of those objects, and now I'm going to get my Pathfinder tool, which is this tool over here. Okay, and I'm going to hit Unite. Every time I unite something, I basically hold Alt. It is like one of the most common things that comes up in every video, in every one of my videos. It was like, it ain't working. How's it not working? This guy's bad. Just hold Alt, click Unite, and then click Expand. That's as easy as that. Really. No more stuff in the comments about that. That's how you do it. So when I've got that, now I've got one object that's basically shaped like a 90 bolt, and it hasn't got that little middle section in there because we've united those things together and we've expanded it. It works. Right. I want to know where the center points are of my circle. So I'm going to click and drag both of these. Okay, and you see these little nodes here. That's my vertical axis and that's my horizontal axis across those little nodes there. So get our rulers up. Come on, R. There's your rulers. Click and drag, and that's just going to be ruler. It snaps to that point over there. That's my horizontal axis. Click and drag from this side. You can even go to this node here, and it snaps to that point over there. That's my vertical. So now we've got nice symmetry going on over here. Okay. If when you're clicking and dragging, things aren't snapping, just go up to view, and you can see it says snap to point here. That's what you want on. All the rest of these other things here, yeah. Okay, so let's click and drag and bring our lightning bolts into the scene. Okay, so we want it somewhere on there, but we want to skew it a bit, or skew it. We want to rotate it. So hit R, or you can go over here. There's your rotate tool over there. And I'm just going to rotate it somewhere like there. We're going to have to scale this thing down. I'm going to hit V to just drag it where I want to, kind of in the window, so somewhere around there-ish. Hit E, okay, and just E. And I'm going to start scaling this down, but hold Alt and Shift, and we can scale it down somewhere like there-ish. What I'm aiming for is, I suppose, if I go into wireframe mode, I can explain this better. I want this little piece showing over there, but I want this piece to be overlapped by this section of the triangle here. Yeah, the triangle over there, the lightning bolt. So I'm going to click and drag that a little bit. I don't want this too horizontal. I want somewhere there, but I also don't want this point peeking out over my halfway point. So I'm going to flip back to my wireframe, out of my wireframe, take my stroke back up to 30. Okay, that's looking cool, and bring it up to there. I do kind of want that more in there so we get more of that lightning bolt shape when we start cutting this up. So into my wireframe, yeah, something like that is cool. We still got that point covering there. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work, somewhere around there. So you can just get it to a heavy place, or just follow what I've kind of done here. That's cool. And let's make sure that's still in 30. Yep, okay, cool. Right, so now we need to duplicate this underneath it and horizontally again. So the easiest way to do that is we're going to click and we're going to drag, and we're going to get a reflect tool. So you can hit O, or you can go over here and you can see this is reflect. Okay, now you can see there's a tiny little node over there in a very light cyan color that you can barely see. I gotta get my eyes tested. So I'm gonna drag this to my horizontal line over here. Okay, so you see I've just put that little center point on this line over here. Now I'm gonna hit Alt, I'm gonna hold Shift, and I'm gonna click and I'm gonna drag, and you can see I'm actually just dragging and pulling to the left. Okay, and it just is flipping downwards, weird enough. So just click and drag. Yours is going to go all over the place. You're just going to get used to clicking and dragging and that sort of thing. Sorry, Mr. Mike. I'm sorry I made a bang of the noise. There's also been some comments about me banging the mic. I'm trying not to bang the mic. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to hit V again, and I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to just drag or select my other lightning bolt over there. I'm going to hit O again, my reflect tool, and there's my little node over here. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag that to my center point. Yeah, okay, so it's right in between the horizontal and the vertical axis. And hold Alt, Shift, click, drag. You see I just dragged off to the right a little bit there, and I'm going to release. Right, so there we've got our lightning bolts going around all over the place. That is looking cool. Okay, so I'm going to give us a backup of these lightning bolts. So let's click and drag over those two, hold Shift, click and drag over these two. I'm going to go Command C to copy, back to our layers palette. Let's get this Pathfinder out the way. Let's go to our elements. I'm going to open that up, click on that. I'm just going to click off the artboard, make sure I'm selected on this layer over here, and go Command F, and let's just change the color of that key line again, or the stroke color, to pink. Back to the layers, and let's hide it so it's gone, it's safe. Okay, let's select both these lightning bolts this side, both the lightning bolts this side, get my Pathfinder tool up again, and what are you gonna do? You gotta hold that Alt key. Hold that Alt key. Alt, unite, expand. Okay, now what we're gonna do, same sort of thing, is I'm going to click this, I'm going to click or select this layer, this little circle on the inside over here, right? I want this to be on top of that circle below it. So think of it like a donut. I want it to be at top, and we're going to punch it through. So I'm going to go Command, Shift, square bracket, close bracket. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're basically going to go Object and bring it to the front. I'm going to go Arrange, bring to front, Shift, Command, and there, that bracket there. Okay, square close bracket. Okay, so now that's on the top of everything that's here. I'm going to select this circle over here. Okay, so now I've got both circles selected, and I'm going to go over to the Pathfinder, and you see it says minus front. You better hold that Alt. Hold that Alt key. Alt, click, expand. Now it's punched through there. So basically, if I just quickly flip my stroke and my fill around, you can see we've got a donut. Okay, let's flip that back. Let's go to just a Z. Okay, so we've got our, so we've basically got one object and we've got two objects, because those objects are all joined into one, and that's all joined into one. Now there's a fancy new tool where we don't have to use so much of the Pathfinder tool anymore. I can select both of these objects like that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here a bit, and we're going to go over here, and this is called Shape Builder. Shift N. We're going to click on that. Now, Shape Builder, what it does, it actually minuses off shapes, but at this moment it's minusing off all the fill strokes. So what we need to do, and it only works with one object at a time. Okay, just zoom out a bit. So we're going to select our lightning bolts. We're going to head up to Object. We're going to go Expand, and it says Fill Stroke. Just click OK. You can see what it does. It takes it from this line over here. So if I go into wireframe, it's gone from a wireframe and it's taken it to the width of our stroke. Okay, so there's no longer that single line running in the middle, which is our stroke. It's actually made it a semi-full. We can do the same for the circle. Click on that, Object, Expand, boom. No center line. So you can see we've lost that center line completely. Now when we use our shape tool, so Shift M, because I know you guys have all learned it, we're going to select both our objects, Shift M. Okay, now we can go and minus off all these little bits that we don't want. So as I said, when I did this, I wanted that little piece peeking through here. I'm going to see at the moment it's giving us that plus sign. I'm going to hold Alt, minus. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Doesn't it make things easier? Minus that. Minus that. Let's have a look. where are we? We don't want this one, so we're going to go minus, minus. We want that one. Take out those. May want those later. Take out those. Oh, no, we don't want that one. We want that one. Let's come on, Z. We don't want that. Okay, that's cool. Do the same on the other side. So we don't want any of those there. We don't want that one. That one. We want that one. We said we don't want those. We don't want those. We don't want that one. We don't want. I don't want. It's like a 5-year-old. Then I'm going to hit V, deselect. Oh, we see you still got that one in there. Let's minus that off. So Shift M, bring up that tool again. Let's minus that one there, holding Alt. Okay, cool. So now we've got a cool shape going on here. Right. So now what we can do is I want to get some text going here. So now that we have our save layers, all right, this is where this comes in. We're going to go back here. I'm going to go back to our layer. I'm simply going to select this one over here. I'm going to go Command C. I'm going to close that, or hide that one, show our one, and I'm going to go make sure I'm on our layer. Command F. If you try to paste it on that layer, it'll come up with a little window saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Okay. Just to make things easier, I'm just going to take this back down to about 10 so we can kind of see the line. That's the stroke width I've just taken down. Hit E. And I'm going to scale it up to somewhere around about there-ish. Okay, Command C, Command F. We'll make another copy of it. I'm going to scale it down, make another version that kind of comes in here. Okay, because I know we're going to be typing something in there. Okay, so somewhere around there. Alt Shift, remember to keep it in proportion, scaling from the center. Okay, right, just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so now what we need to do is figure out some text. So hit T to get your text tool up. And let's go with this other thing I've been toying with. Deny the. Okay, I'm just going to hold down my command key. I'm going to click off, hit V, click my text, hold Alt again, click and drag, and just release. And then I've got another copy of it. And then I'm going to say machine. So click that and set machine. So it works like Word. That's machine, M-A-C-H-I-N-E. That is right, M-A-C-H. Yeah, that's right. So let's click and drag both of those. So we've got them selected, and let's go for Katura. That's a cool one to do with this one. Let's just do the normal regular one. Okay, so font size, let's just scale this up. So I'm just literally running my mouse wheel up. Okay, nice and large, probably somewhere around there. We're going to adjust this text size anyway. Okay, so we've got text for the bottom, we've got text for the top. Now we're going to need 2 copies of this layer here. So I'm going to Command C, Command F. So now I've actually got 2 copies. I know we can't see them. Remember, we can't see them. So I'm going to go click, or click. I'm going to select all that text, Command C. Okay, and I'm going to go to my text tool over here, click on that, and I'm going to drop down to type on a path tool. And I'm going to click on this, basically this first outer circle over here. I'm going to try to click down here, try to get this right for once. Click over there. I'm going to go paste, Command V, and there's our text over there. Now I'm going to center it. So you see it says line center. Missed it. So I'm going to click that there, and you see this big T bar that's come under here that's kind of upside down. I'm going to click that. I'm going to drag that to my vertical center point over there. Okay, so now you can see there's my T there, and it's kind of coming into my center point right about there. Okay, so that's the top layer. So now you can see basically we've used up the first circle. Okay, so the second circle is still there in pink underneath it, but we can't select it at this point. If you see, I've selected it, but it's showing it's black. It's actually picking up this text over here. So the easiest way I find to do this is when you learn your quick keys, you can just flow through things very quickly. I go Command 2, that's lock. Now I can't select that layer, but I can select my stroke. Okay, so now it's turning pink. I'm going to go over here to this machine text. I'm going to triple click that, Command C. And I'm going to do the same, hit on my text tool, drop down to type on a path tool, and I'm going to, let's try click over here at this point, okay? And I'm going to go Command V, okay? So it's over there. Let's just Command A to select all that text and just center it again, okay? So now we've got the problem is that it's upside down. Okay, I'm pretty sure if you watch some of my other videos, you'll know what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going to flip it up. So the T-bar, I've basically, you can do it anywhere. You can do it on the side of here. I'm just dragging to the inside of the circle. And then I'm going to drag it to my center, my vertical center. Okay, and I'm going to release it there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my text tab up. So Command T, and up pops my text tab. And I am going to adjust this baseline shift over here. So I'm actually going to drag that down. So you can see it's gone all the way down there. And now the letters are quite actually nicely spaced out, but I know that's probably not going to function with the top piece. So we're going to bring this tracking in a bit here. So I'm going to bring the tracking in a little bit there. Okay, not too much. We can do the same for the tracking on this top piece here, but now we can't obviously select it. So it's Command, Alt, and 2. If you're lost with those ones, Object, it's somewhere in here, lock, there, lock. And you once it's locked, you can unlock. So lock, unlock. Okay, so that's if you don't know what the short keys are, object and lock and unlock over there. So now I'm just going to expand the tracking on this one, take that a little bit out. So what we're done 70 there. That kind of looks cool. It's just rounded. I don't know why I want 75. I just want 75. And this one here, I just want this to be a little bit more there, somewhere around there. Okay, cool. That's kind of what we want in there, right? Now, we're going to do the exact same, and we're going to put text around the top here and text around the bottom there, some text in there and text in there. So let's do the easy ones on the outside, and then we'll come back for a refresher on the inside over there. So I'm going to take this text over here, and let's type in TRD. Okay, deselect that, hit V, drag it across over there. MRK, okay, so it's 3 letters. Click and drag them in here. Just zoom in a bit. Hit E, scale, transform, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to pop them like one over there. Okay. And just align those again. So get that line. And then they in exactly the same horizontal axis. So we've got TRD, MRK. Okay. Now what we're going to do is let's do the top text over here and then the bottom text over there. So again, the same what we did with this text over here, we're going to have to make a duplicate of this ellipse tool, the circle that we've got here. So Command C, Command F. Right, now we've got 2 of those. Okay, we can't see them, but they are there. So now I'm going to hold, let's just type in some text here. So I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag this so I don't destroy that one. And we're going to type in do not. Okay, I'm going to hold my command key or Apple key, click that, just click and drag that whilst holding Alt, and I want to go fade. Okay, so bottom text, top text, right? So let's go triple click, Command C. Okay, let's head on over to our type tool and type in a path. Oof, let's try click this side and Command F. Okay, it's gone over there. Let's center that text. So close. What I'm trying to do, basically when I'm clicking there, I'm trying to get it so it actually sits in that center point. I haven't found that center point yet. If you find that center point, leave me a comment below and tell me where to click on that ellipse tool. Okay, so I'm going to get my pointer tool, okay, and I'm going to drag this to my center point right there. So we've got a center point there. Okay, and obviously this text needs to come down. So you can either go to your type tab and scale your text down, or you can use your quickies. You can see what I'm doing over there. Okay, so somewhere around there, we're going to have to take the tracking up on that quite a bit. And for this one, we're going to have to fill some spaces over there. And when in doubt, you need to fill a space, dot. Okay, I'm going to go up to my other side. I just push the up key, up the arrow. I'm going to go bullet point, spacer. So there we go. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to lock that layer. So Command 2, to block that layer. Let's take this fade, copy that. Okay, and we're going to get our type on the path tool and click, I give up, paste on there. And yep, what we're going to do is get the T-bar, just center it first. this T-bar thing over here. We're going to drag that to the inside. I'm going to flip it around and drag it to the center point. Let's take it, remember, we have to do that baseline, take that baseline all the way down. Let's unlock this top layer. So Command Alt 2, okay. Let's check what font size we got. 119. We're gonna make that 120. It just makes it easier to remember things. Do the same. So I've clicked on my fade text. Okay, 120. Okay, just makes it easier. And now you can see my baseline is completely out. So let's bring that baseline back a little bit. Okay. Yep. And let's put in some dots on this one, bullet points. So let's go to the top, Alt 8 space, and to the bottom of that, space 8, space Alt 8. Okay, so there we've got our text going on the top and the bottom. Okay, that's cool. Okay, now we need something in the middle. So we can just make a very quick graphic here. Okay, and let's take this font over here. Let's go DTM. Okay, the machine. You can just get rid of those ones. In actual fact, let's not get rid of those ones. Always make a backup of your stuff. Back to your layers. Close that. Deselect this one. Hide that one. Go to those elements. Unhide that one. Paste in there and make it your color. Pink. Go back to my layers, hide that, and put that back. So we just got a little backup going in case we ever want to see it again. Right. So I've got DTM here. What I want to do is outline this, make it actually to a graphic rather than a font. So I'm going to go Command Shift O. Now it's actually seeing these graphic elements. Okay, let's ungroup this. Command Shift G. Okay, now it's ungrouped, so now I can select them, the letters individually. Okay, what we can do here is, I think, because we've got the lightning bolt thing going, we can play with that T a little bit. So what we can do is, I'm going to hit A. Okay, A is your direct selection tool. I always call it my absolute select, the direct selection tool. I'm going to click and drag this little point over here. And I'm going to do the same for this little point over here whilst holding Shift, so you can see those churn solid. They aren't hollow like those ones. I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to drag to the side. Okay, so it gives us a little bit of a slant without slanting this section over here. Okay, obviously I'm going to need this to be longer, but I haven't kind of decided how long this side's going to be. So you can see I've just literally selected over those two nodes over there, and I'm just manipulating those two nodes by themselves. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to select these two nodes over here. Okay, and I'm going to drag this up there. Then I'm going to select this one little node over here, and I'm going to hold Shift and drag it up over there. Okay, now I basically, what do I want to do? I basically want to get rid of this top piece here and have the same size width over here. So I can either get my rectangle tool and draw another rectangle and skew it. Another easy way is I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift and click. So I'm going to hold Alt, start dragging, click Shift, and you can see it goes in the exact same place. Okay. Now I made a duplicate of that. I just want this piece over here. So all I'm going to do, like really quickly, I'm going to get my rectangle tool, M, select over that. Okay. Then I'm going to get my pointer tool, V. I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to select both those elements over there. Heading over to my Pathfinder, hold that Alt button. Click, it's gone, expand. Now I've got this piece over here. Okay, so I've got my same angle that I'm looking for as this angle over here. I'm going to flip that over, okay, reflect it. So I'm going to hit O to reflect. Doesn't matter where you reflect it, I'm just going to reflect it so that I just basically want it to go that way. Okay, so it's at the same angle. Okay, now I'm going to hit A to get my direct selection tool, and I'm going to just bring those nodes down. Okay, and I just want that to overlap like a bit like that. So we've got this lightning bolt kind of like going through the whole thing. So let's just drag it closer to this bit over here. Okay, just selected both of my elements. If you want your lightning bolt to come a little bit further down, just select all those points over there with your direct selection tool. Just move them down. So we've got a bit of a bolt going through there. Let's bring this. I'm holding shift the whole time. I'm dragging these in and out. If you go a bit astray, sometimes, you know, D ends up here somehow. I don't know how you've done that, but you can always reselect your D, your M, go over here to your line tool and just realign your stuff and then just bring it back in and you don't have to panic. So I'm just going to bring this in, hold shift. I'm just going for the same sort of distance. You can get really finicky here and get the same distance from here to here if you want. It's up to you. Then I'm going to hold, well, I'm just going to select these two little nodes over here with my direct selection tool, and I'm going to drag this just to this point over there. Okay, so you can see how I've snapped it to that point over there. You can do that over a short distance. Sometimes you can't do it over a long distance. Like I want to snap it to that bottom part of the M there. It ain't going to happen. Okay, so you can do it over a short distance, but I actually want this point here to kind of align with that there. That won't work if I try to drag it to that point there, unfortunately. So I'm just going to drag it. I just want it visually aligned to that point there. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a center graphic that we can now select. So I'm going to hit V, take that, all those little things there. You can group it. You can unite it if you want. I'm going to pop this in the middle, okay? Hit E and just scale this up. Okay, there. And I'm going to take away the rulers. And hey presto, there's our graphic. Right, so it wasn't that easy to make. It was just a few manipulating some shapes and everything. We've still got our backups. If you wanted to distress this and make it more vintagey, there's a video on how we can do that. There's actually a new little one I'm working on that you can use color in it. We'll get there. Don't worry. This is a journey for both of us. So don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment below because it really helps the channel out. And I'll catch you on the next one.